Hello, America, and to our friends around the world, welcome back. Today, we're tackling a topic that's been festering under the surface, something that's been allowed to grow unchecked because of a pervasive toxic ideology, the escalating violence against men by women. Fueled by feminist misandry, we're diving deep. There's a rally fallacy that's going around. It's all men until it's not. Which men, as with as with drizzle, have flipped on its head to illustrate the absurdity by declaring it's all women until it's not, because the it's all men is used to justify punitive and violent actions against men simply for being men. Let's start with the brutal facts. Headline: Wife who said divorce was not an option killed sleeping husband with 38 special before kids blow up her home invasion story. This details a chilling case where a woman killed her husband to avoid paying for a divorce. Imagine that. Being so entitled, so privileged, you're allowed to get away with murder as being a less consequence than the price of a divorce. This isn't just a crime, it's a calculated move, justified by the narrative that women are perpetual victims, never perpetrators. This precept, it's all man until it's not, mocks the lack of accountability among women. The excuse? She was oppressed by the system, by marriage, by men. But where's the accountability? This misandry, this illogical justification for violence against men stems from the same flawed logic. Now remember, if the roles were reversed, he would be in prison for life without a chance of parole. This woman lied. There were children in the home at the time, and they're forever traumatized by their mother's execution of their father. Do they not deserve justice for their father? No, because it's just us system. Then there's this headline, which attempts to justify the murder. Woman kills cheating boyfriend by cutting off testicles as he slept. This is where a woman cut off a sleeping man's testicles and stabbed him in his femoral artery, one of, if not the most vital artery. This act of violence isn't just horrifying, it's a direct result of the excuses women make to justify such acts. The narrative spun, he must have deserved it. It's in the freaking headline. He never gets a chance to defend himself because he's dead. Only the accusation that he's a cheater, no proof. She was driven to it by societal pressures, the shame, the horror of the imaginary infidelity. Gasp! I must have vengeance! This is the history of misandry, dating back to the Seneca Falls Convention, where women's rights were sometimes framed in opposition to men, promoting a not always silent acceptance and promotion of violence against men and boys. Overlook the Florida judge as she shocks the courtroom in a show of mercy for a girl who stabbed her boyfriend in the chest. This judge, steeped in her man hating ideology, gave a light sentence to a violent woman. Here, the complicit nature of the legal system shines through. Judges influenced by feminist doctrine minimize or outright ignore the violence when committed by women, reinforcing the idea that men deserve being treated as less than when these violent women aren't held accountable. This is how insidious misandry and feminist ideology that women use to justify abusive actions against men seeps into our culture and our society. The boy's family is seeking justice. I've included a link in the screen here for you to follow to go to their petition to demand justice to be served. And here is an image from yesterday that's been making the rounds online. All the beta male simps that have been sharing it are playing the pronoun game as if they're part of the trans movement. Woman. It was a woman, not a they, them. A woman FBI agent pointing a weapon at an infant. This isn't just incompetence or over aptitude. It's the embodiment of the dangers feminist ideology has wrought. When you promote ideology over ability, you get situations where those in power, like this woman, this FBI woman, act with impunity because the narrative protects her. It's all women until it's not. The violence and incompetence have become too blatant to ignore. This image underscores the misandry that allows for such actions under the guise that women are above reproach. The media plays its part too. often downplaying or ignoring these stories. The government and legal system are complicit, creating an environment where such violence is minimized. This isn't just about individual acts, it's about a systemic failure that that to address the violence against boys and men due to this pervasive ideology of misandry. We must confront this brutal reality. The infection of feminist ideology has led us to a point where violence against boys and men is normalized, excused, and often goes unpunished. We're not talking about equality here. We're talking about a culture of misandry that's been allowed to fester since the days of Seneca Falls, where the fight for women's rights turned into a battle against men for dominance over men. So what do? We need to call out this hypocrisy, demand true equality where accountability is universal, not gendered. We must reject that he must have deserved it and start seeing individuals for their actions, not their gender. Until then, we're stuck in this vicious cycle where boys and men's suffering is ignored and feminist ideology continues to spread its toxic influence. Keep your eyes open, question the narratives you're fed, and remember equality means equality for all, not just when it suits one side.